All right, we're live. Perfect.
Woohoo!
All right, it is Wednesday. We are live again with another Q&A for Wednesday, our Wednesday jam now. So every 2 p.m., every Wednesday at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. I can't get my words out straight here today. We'll be doing this. And so today I'm excited for another Wednesday. I have Rita on with me. Rita, how you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah. So if anybody doesn't know who Rita is, they should. She is a rock star and she is part of our team here at Flip Talk and Inner Circle and everything else we got going on. She does our event management and member relations and helping us build this awesome, incredible group. So you're on today with me to talk about what we have going on, right? So we can give
Yes.
everybody an update. So we have a cool event going on. Let's talk about that for a minute. What do we
Yeah.
have, Rita?
I just want to crash the beginning before you get into the Q&A. We have the Flip Talk Virtual Summit 1 week, 1 day. So next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 24th to the 26th of September. And today you did a crazy thing and you put a flash sale up for everybody,
Right.
which is amazing.
Right.
So you can see it, I believe, right? Everyone can see that on the screen.
Virtualsummit.com. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So check it out. I've been in the business for 10 years. And what I have to say about working with this group is that Don doesn't mess around. He brings people who are really doing the business, which is amazing. These aren't some, glorified speaker who's going to come on stage and just tell you what they do, but they're not really doing it. Everyone that's at this event, speaking at this event, is actually in the business, doing the business, started just where maybe you are right now, doing 1 or 2 deals or never done a deal, and then has grown their business. So that's what I'm most excited about. So whether you've done a deal or you're brand new, there's going to be a ton of nuggets to take away from this event. So definitely secure your seat ASAP.
Very cool. So next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, basically
Yes.
1 week and 1 day from today. It's a 3-day event. We're going to have people sharing their businesses, opening their books, showing you what they're doing right now in the COVID economy to make money and make this business work. And we've done a flash sale. Go to fliptalkvirtualsummit.com and it's flash sale for general admission. And it's like some crazy.
It's like 97% off. I'm not going to tell you, but just go check it out. And it's good through Friday at midnight. So make sure you take advantage of it.
So perfect. And I'm sure those of you who are going to be watching this will see more and more of Rita as she is becoming an integral part of our team and definitely a huge part of what's going to make us successful. So I appreciate you.
Cool. Rita. Okay. Have a good Q&A.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
So perfect. Okay. So anybody, what's up? Matt Smith, how you doing? Michael, how you doing? So let's get some questions going here for you guys and gals that have questions. I'm here to answer them. That's why I'm here. Give me some likes and loves here. I just start hitting the like button so that way people can see this, share this. If you have gotten value from this in the past couple of weeks, share this wherever you share stuff, and let's get some more people seeing this and helping them in their business. So what is your questions? Just go ahead and post them. While I'm waiting for you to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and do my ramble and talk about what I have going on in my business. As you know, obviously, we're doing an event next week, and we're going to talk a lot about lead generation, lead conversion, and then getting that check, and it's going to be amazing. So let's see here. Mitchell, main marketing tactics using currently. Right now, obviously, since I have a huge database, my main marketing tactic is follow-up, which I think should be your primary marketing tactic. And even at any level, even when you're just beginning, I think a lot of us leave follow-up on the table. So follow-up is definitely one of my main marketing tactics. And then, of course, we are doing cold calling right now. We're doing text messaging, and we are doing some direct mail right now. Now, most of you know me as a direct mail king. That has been my thing. I have sent out, well over several million postcards in the last couple of years. But I have backed off a little bit on direct mail just because, cold calling and follow up and text messaging seem to be where the most profitability is at for us for the moment. So if you are, I would say just getting into the business, I would niche list down and I would cold call that niche list, driving for dollars, tax defaults, foreclosures. I know there are moratoriums in a lot of areas, but foreclosures are another way to hit lists because they're still happening. And I would be doing that kind of thing. Door knocking. I know door knocking is a little weird in COVID crisis right now, but door knocking, is still a good avenue for getting deals. So let's see here, Bob. Vacant houses list from all services is the U.S. Postal Service list. Is that a question, Bob? I'm sorry, buddy. So let's see. I'll pop you up here too, and it says that I found in driving the Bay Area list that in the Bay Area list that are 90% are not actually vacant. Okay, I got it. So, any suggestions? So, okay, so the vacant list. Look, the vacant lists are like anything else. It's not an exact science. Okay, so and you got to kind of take it tongue in cheeks. They're the way they get the vacant list, just so you have an idea. And don't quote me on this. This is my understanding of kind of how it works. But the way they get the vacant list is if they've delivered to a property and that mail isn't collected or it's returned or marked undeliverable for a period of, I think it's 6 months, then that property gets marked as vacant. And that's not, like I said, it's not exact science. The other thing that you may not realize when you get that vacant list is when that property has, maybe been re-rented or sold, and maybe the data, there's just an overlap of, somebody's moved into that property. So 90% seems like a big number. I don't have a great source for vacant lists, but if you poke me, I will. I'll do my best research for you. That's not a list that I hit, to tell you the truth, on a regular basis. I'm more of a shotgun approach in what I do right now than as a niche individual. So let's see, Mitchell. Yes, love direct mail. Direct mail has always been a great thing for me, and I enjoy it very much. Facebook. I'm trying to text message. How many texts should I send a month to an absentee owner list to consistently do 2 deals a month? That's going to be market specific, to be honest with you, as far as how many. And then, of course, obviously the list plays into that. And then, of course, your ability to close. So like I always talk about, with the marketing channel, you got to hit a certain point. And it's not just in dollar spend, it's in activity and connection. So if you're below that, the activity mark where it's going to matter, you're not going to get deals. And if you pass that, then you are. And in your market, the easiest way to do that is to send out and continue to send out text messages until you get your deal, and then start to build a formula around that. We'll share a little bit more specifically at the virtual summit exactly KPIs for text messaging. I will definitely dive into that and break that down from some of the people we have there and have that conversation with them, so you get more perspective on KPIs for text messaging. I don't have that information from my company right in front of me right now as I'm answering this, but again, reach out to me on Messenger, and I will give you information on what we're doing for that. And then I'll post here in the comments as well. So a little unprepared for that question, I'm not going to lie, as far as what we're doing today for our KPIs for text messaging, but I can get you some information on what's working for us, and then we'll have that information in the virtual summit as well. And we're going to be doing a few panels and stuff like that, and so that'll be a great question to ask there. Bob, I found. Let's see, I've already done that one. Okay, so Matt, are you pulling your data from county as or a list of list provider? I'm pulling from list providers. So I pull my list from List Source. I have a direct mail provider that I pull a list through as well. And then I am working on some other stuff right now, actually, for new data. So I'm always checking data. I will tell you that PropStream is another service that I use, and PropStream is a great place to pull lists. And if you go to fliptalk.com/PropStream, you get a 7-day free trial for PropStream if you want to try that out in 7 days and see if it works for you. So fliptalk.com/PropStream will give you a 7-day free trial for PropStream, but we pull lists through PropStreams as well. So List Source, PropStream. I have a mailhouse I pull through. I'm more than happy to share that information with anybody who reaches out to me, and I'll give you that direct contact there at that mailhouse to do that as well. And then, of course, if you are pulling, if you're on the West Coast, there's some great services like Property Radar. If I believe it's Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, Property Radar, you can get some great, gives you a lot of good foreclosure data as well. And of course, we utilize that internally in our office as well. So, Michael, so thoughts on hiring a property managers versus managing yourself. How do you know the right person to hire? That's always something that's up for debate. A lot of people, they go back and forth on whether or not they should do it internally or hire it out. I think it comes down to, for me, for instance, the way I make my decisions is, does this take me away from making money somewhere else? Like if I decide to manage it myself personally, or I had decide to have my team management, does it take them away um, from making money in my organization? And if it does, then we're going to outsource it somewhere else. If it does not, then it'll be something we do internally. So that's the $1 million question. Don't jump over dollars, pick up pennies, right? That's something my great grandmother used to say. And so I try to look at everything through that lens of, what is going to be the best result for profitability. As far as picking the right person, to be honest with you, I would now in this business we have some access to data, right? So I would skip trace, find out, maybe get some information on who some of their clients are. You can easily do that by going through their website and seeing like properties that have been rented, because a lot of these property management companies will show like available or gone type of thing, and just do a little research on some properties they're managing and contact those owners, and see if they're happy with that service. That's what I would do, but that's because I'm crazy. So see if they're happy with that service and just do a little research and don't take it for granted. Property management companies are tough. Some of them are really good and some are really bad. Most of the time, they're bad. So it's important to do your homework when picking one. So, Colleen, can you share your mastermind pricing details and what sets your program apart from others? Yeah, I would love to share that. So, the the community as a whole, the mastermind community as a whole, what sets us apart is a couple of things. One is, as an operator, like I have a business here. I'm in my office right now. I have a team right outside this door on the phones, locking up deals, getting contracts. I'm running the business. I did over $1 million in assignment fees in 2019, and that's my side gig. I'm also a rehabber. So, in May, just quick thanks. If we're actually putting some things together, in May I did over $100,000 in assignment fees, and January I did almost $200,000 in assignment fees of this year. So today, I think we're getting a $24,000 check from an assignment fee. I'm really doing the business, and I'm not just somebody who is trying to put a team together to do this education thing, right? I'm really doing the business, and one of the reasons why I do the education stuff and I do the lives, I do the podcast, is because when I lost everything back in 2008, the reason why I lost everything is because I wasn't stuck to my core competency, which is real estate investing. I was doing too many other things, and so now I want to stick to the field that I belong in. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm doing some of the things that I'm doing education wise. Plus, I want to impact people. So, takeaway number one is that I'm really doing the business. Mike Caliper, who's involved with me, is really doing the business. And we know what you're struggling with. We know what you need to learn. We know what, you need to know. We know how to help. We know what we need. Like we need help. There's ways you guys can help us. So, that is one of the things that sets it apart. The other thing is, we're not just about beating chest. We're really careful about who we let into the group. We want everybody in there to be rock stars or working their way to be a rock star, but we don't want people just beating their chest and, talking about how great they are. We want people talking about like, what are you struggling with and how can we help you? And so, and then we don't just want to force down your throat to build this massive machine that, you may or may not need. We want you to build the business that's right for you. So, a mastermind, if you're not familiar with a mastermind community, it's like a collective. It's a collective share of information, knowledge, and experience, and everybody's there to help everybody. And if you're utilizing the mastermind right, you're not only asking questions, getting help, but you're also teaching, you're also helping, and you're really creating a community of individuals who have each other's back, right? Who, through thick and thin, through ups and downs, we're going to celebrate your wins, and we're going to help you in your losses, and we're going to fight the battles with you. And that's really what a mastermind is. Whether or not a mastermind community is right for you right now or not, that's a good question. If you are somebody who has a functioning business where you're doing deals and you want to start to either scale or systematize or figure out what your goals are, a mastermind is probably right for you. If you're somebody that's just trying to figure this business out and get traction, then of course maybe the right thing for you. And that's something that, we can have a discussion about and figure out which one at the end of the day is going to be the right fit. So my job is to get you ready for a mastermind if you're not ready for it, and then get you in our community, because I want to hang out with you. I want to, have a drink with you. I want to talk to you about your business. I want to share my business. I want to find ways we can collaborate and make money and that kind of thing. So, great question. So let's see here. Michael, how do I know whether a property is worth rehabbing or not? Um, it's simple math, to be honest with you. And I don't want to oversimplify it, but it really, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. I mean, you have what people have out there for ARV, minus repairs minus cost, 70% of ARV minus repairs minus cost or whatever. That's one way to look and see if it works. Another way is just to create a formula for your business. Like, for instance, our business has a buy box. We have a formula that we utilize when we buy. And if it doesn't fit in that box, we don't rehab it. And so, for instance, we want to make 15% cash on cash return for each property. If we're invested $100,000 on that property all in, I want to make 15 grand minimum. That's my buy box. So it doesn't matter. That's probably 75% of ARV, maybe 80% of ARV minus costs and repairs, somewhere in that ballpark. But that's irrelevant to me. I just plug numbers into a spreadsheet. If it says it fits within this range, we do it. If it doesn't, if it says it's not within that range, we don't do it. And so that's number one. Do the numbers work? Number two is, when you're looking at a property, you're looking about whether or not you should rehab it. Maybe you should just sweep it out and resell it, which is wholetailing, or maybe you should put some money into it, how much money you should put into it. Then you start looking at what the market's doing right now, what's going on in the market, and then what the properties in your area look like, whether or not they've been rehabbed and how much they've been rehabbed. And that's when you make a determination as to whether or not there's value. You can add value there, whether or not it's worth it at the end of the day to do that project. So if you can add value and the numbers work and you can actually turn a profit, then the answer is yes, it's worth doing. Just signed up for the event. Excited to learn from you guys. Mitchell, I'm excited as well. I can't wait to see you there. One of the things I want to share about the virtual summit, and then I'll get off that and get back to answering questions. This isn't a webinar where you're just going to be watching us present. This is going to be like a Zoom call type of situation where you're actually going to be able to interact and ask questions. We're going to have Q&A where you'll be able to physically ask questions if you want to, or type them in the chat. And then we'll be having panels where it'll be an open discussion. So we are coming with presentations. We are going to educate. We're going to do all that, but you also get to interact and ask questions. I want to make that very, very clear. This is something where, it's not like you're just watching us do our thing. You get to be part of the show. So hopefully you're all cool with that. Let's see here. Matt takes 3 to 5 text messages in Vegas per deal. Perfect. Right there. So 3 to 5,000 text messages in Vegas to get a deal. And every market is a little different. Matt, thanks for chiming in on that, buddy. For someone who wants to get into flipping, if somebody wants to get into flipping homes and they want to know the steps from purchase to reno to selling, where could they go for that content? Mostly at the A to Z on the rehab process. So that is a fantastic question, and that is my expertise. That is where I started rehabbing in 2003. When I rebooted in 2012, I started rehabbing. I didn't start wholesaling in 2008 till 2018. So we are putting together some stuff for that. We're putting together some content on the rehab process, hiring contractors, working with contractors, managing your budgets, managing your timelines, what to rehab, what not to rehab, all that kind of stuff. We have some amazing things we're putting together. Reach out to me directly on Instant Messenger, and just let me know that this says Facebook user here, so I can't see who it is. I apologize, but reach out to me on Instant Messenger. Let me know you're the one that asked this question, and I will get you pointed in the right direction. So there are a lot of ways that I can help you out right now as we are putting some things together. And also, I don't mind any of you who want to do a Q&A with me, just me and you, and it's something I would air on the podcast. I love doing those and airing them. You're welcome to be a guest. If you want to come and just grill me about, managing rehabs, you are welcome to do that. and I will air it. But that's the only thing I ask, is that I can air it. And so if you want to message me on Facebook if you're interested in that, about any specific topic, then go ahead and do that. So, and I will do my best to answer those questions for you that way. So, but we do have some amazing stuff coming out. I'm telling you right now, we have some amazing stuff coming out on the rehab process, and how to manage that. I've been very successful in it, managing over 100 rehabs a year for a number of years, and I love rehabbing. So, um, Michael, do you hold and rent out houses, apartments? If so, how do you go about pricing your tenants? You look, we're that's not my expertise. I do have rentals. Typically, it's kind of like accidental rentals. We buy them. They have great renters in them. We keep them. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know all the math necessary for determining what's a good rental. My expertise is wholesaling and rehabbing properties, building teams, systems, and processes, and showing you how to convert deals and maximize your profit. So unfortunately, the rehab, the rental side of things is just kind of like a half hobby for me, but not my expertise. Are you still sending direct mail as heavily as you have been in the past few years, or have you found a better ROI in a different channels? So I'm not sending direct mail at the level I was. More so right now, because we've been really concentrating on fall. We are gearing our direct mail back up, and to be honest with you, it's just kind of like I'm going through the process right now of determining what the best data is for us to be marketing to at the moment. Best data source, best data list, and stuff like that in the COVID environment. And that's some of the stuff that I'll be talking about. I'll actually be talking about some direct mail stuff in the virtual summit, and going through some of what I'm finding out right now in the arena of COVID and what's going on with COVID. So I'll be more than happy to share that there. But so we typically, I think we were around 150,000 pieces a month there for a while ish. And in the last month, I've sent out probably 40,000 pieces, 47,000 pieces, just shy of 50,000 pieces, kind of going through the last handful of drops. So I'm about half about of what I was pre-COVID right now. If I'm being honest with you. So, and that's more so just because I'm testing other channels. Like I'm really giving cold call a serious run for its money. We're text messaging, and then we're doing some other stuff as well as we're repositioning during COVID. So that's really what it comes down to. Again, make sure you're liking if you're getting value here. I want to see some thumbs and some hearts and stuff like that. So, okay. I have a contractor that I'm negotiating with that is working under another person's license. Run right now. Don't even do it. I met him working on another investor's flip, and he did a good job on the work. How would you deal with this issue? Also, we've agreed on an amount for the job, labor bid only. He wanted a large deposit, which I told him I don't agree with. Is there a way you can suggest for me to structure the payments to him? I don't get the feeling that he's trying to get one over on me. He says he just wants to make, I guess, this work. I can't see the rest of it. So, okay. So that's a loaded question. Okay. So you have a contractor that's working under somebody's license. That right there is a red flag for me. I don't like that. I just don't. It's never set well with me. And I've always had problems with people doing that. If you're decent, get your own damn license and get your own insurance, all that kind of stuff like that. Him working under somebody else's license, unless all the paperwork is out under that person, unless you're cutting checks directly to the person with the license, holds no value. If for some reason there's an issue with work quality and you get sued and you have this person who's not licensed, the person who holds the license is not going to stand up and say, hey, this guy was working under me. Number one. Number two, really, if the person does you wrong and you sue and you get a judgment, the judgment is really unenforceable unless you can actually hold it against their license. So again, the person holding the license is not going to stand up for you at the end of the day. And then, of course, there are the insurance and everything else. There's a lot of factors why that's just not a good thing. if you're going to get a bid labor only, you need to make sure that it's line itemed. If you get a bid labor material, you need to make sure it's line itemed. You cannot have a lump sum bid when you're rehabbing properties. You just can't. If somebody says 30,000 for the whole job, that's going to be riddled with nothing but problems. Number one, how do you dispute whether or not it was in the bid or not? And I guarantee you, because it's happened to me over and over again when I've done it that way, is it comes to something and you say, I know I told you this is supposed to be done. And they say, well, it wasn't in the bid, so that's more money. If it's not line item, you're going to have issues. You're going to be disputing with each other what the reality is. Personally, I don't like labor only bids, but I know a buddy of mine who does. So I'm not going to dispute which way you go with that. I like labor and material bids. I like it to be specific to the price. Light fixture, $40 installed, material and labor included. Baseboard, X amount of dollars, linear foot, material and labor included. I like that personally. If you have 10 light fixtures at $40 a piece, labor included and material included, then that's $400 for 10 light fixtures. Easy round number. You know what you're getting. And if he comes back and says, hey, I miscounted, there's 12, you can go back and see that he has line item that says 10 and there's really 12. That's not his mistake, right? If it's not line item and it's just a lump sum and he comes back and says, I miscounted the lights, how does he prove that, right? So there's a lot to go in that. I don't do deposits, people. I don't do deposits because I'm allergic to them. They can break out in hives and I can't stand them. You guys have heard me say that over and over again. So many times you give a contractor a 10, 15, $20,000 deposit and you never see them again, or they hold your project hostage. So I just don't do deposits. What I do is pay weekly. So you can pay weekly or biweekly. What you got to understand is the only thing a contractor cares about is getting paid at the end of the day. That's all they care about. And if you can show them that they're going to get paid on time in a reasonable manner, then you're going to have success. It's how you frame the conversation with them. You know, I'm not going to pay you a deposit, but I'm going to pay you weekly or biweekly. And I'm going to pay you for work completed. What you finish, I pay you for, and it's going to be clean. And that's the way I do it. So those are my suggestions for you there. Hopefully that helps out some. And, you know, I will definitely do my best to, again, assist you if you have more questions than that. So let's see here. Which is the best way to negotiate price on a property? Also down payments percentage. Negotiations is a loaded one. You know, down payment, like you're either going to pay cash or it depends on the strategy, I guess. Right. So if you're doing like a sub two or you're negotiating something creative, then your down payment is going to be the cash to seller, whatever the cash to seller is going to be. If you're negotiating an owner carry, then I always try to negotiate no down payment. Your down payment is going to be whatever you guys agree to, and I try to make that as small as possible. If you are negotiating to just buy cash, then obviously the down payment is irrelevant in that point in time. And so that's it. It all depends on what direction you're coming from when you're buying that property. The key here in the negotiation part of it is just making sure you're creating a win-win situation for everybody and that you're getting to a number that's in your box. The biggest thing that I'll share here that I think is important when it comes to converting is not giving up your power. So many of us give up our power in all of our relationships, and you can't give up your power in negotiating with sellers. Now, what does that mean? That means not showing your cards, not giving your number out there before you went through all the steps of uncovering the why, uncovering the pain points, uncovering the objections, uncovering the deal killers when talking to a seller. Once you went all through all those things and you went through every avenue of getting what their number is, or at least getting to what their need is to be resolved, and that's when you can start having a conversation that paints a picture of how whatever number you present to them is going to solve any of those problems. So it's a much deeper conversation than we have right here to have today. But it's definitely something we can have a conversation on Q&A for the podcast. And it's something that we're going to be diving into pretty heavily. Actually, I have Mike Cowper, who is the sales grandmaster. And he is going to be doing several segments during the virtual summit about sales and negotiating with sellers and that kind of thing. So we're going to be diving into that in the virtual summit pretty heavily and answering questions on that as well there. So you'll definitely get value there. Okay. Hey, gee, I got to reach out to you, and I'm thinking probably Friday. When running text campaigns, are you using those same phone numbers to call the sellers? Sometimes it depends on how we set it up. So when we do like marketing campaigns like direct mail, and they call in off of a direct mail campaign. So for those of you who don't know what I do, what we do is if we send out, say we do an absentee list on a yellow postcard, we're going to have a phone number assigned that says absentee list, yellow postcard, first quarter 2020, something like that. Like we're going to have a split test. If the seller calls in on that number and we call back on follow up, we follow up on that number because they recognize, and that becomes the number we call from. So we have, in our Podio, we choose which number, or our smartphone dialer, we choose which number we're calling back from, and we'll call back from the number of the split test. If we don't get a hold of them for some reason, or they start dodging our calls, and we may call from different numbers to see if they answer. On text messaging, it depends on the campaign that we're doing. If we're doing the campaign through Podio, which is basically we're following up with the seller for some reason, and we're sending them text messages through our Podio system, then we're using the number that we used that they called in on the split test. If we're text messaging in launch control, and for those of you who don't have a text messaging platform, Launch Control is a great text messaging platform. Just go to fliptalk.com/launch, and you can sign up for that service. It's a great service. If we're using Launch Control, then we don't always call them on the number we text from. To be honest with you, we may call them from a different number, internally when we do that. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see here. Want to make sure I don't skip anybody here. Okay, so let's see, he's working under the license until things get sideways. Yes, definitely. He's working under their license until things go sideways. He's not really working. That's a sham. They don't really work under somebody else's license unless they're an employee. If he's on the payroll, and you're paying that contractor, it's valid. If it's not, it's just basically smoke and mirrors. Let's see, Bob, do you have any cold call and or text messaging scripts you'd be willing to share? Yeah, absolutely. So we will we'll be sharing. So anything we share during the virtual summit, we're going to be basically we're going to do a vault, which means you'll have access to all those scripts. And those will definitely be some of them for the virtual summit. I can share a couple of things. Obviously, I don't mind sharing a couple of things here. So let me figure out how to get that information over to you. PM me and just PM me, and I'll figure out, if I need to share it here in the comments or that kind of thing. So, but just the plug on the virtual summit, we will be sharing every document that we share there, whether it's a script or a contract. There'll be a vault afterwards that you'll have access to that will have all those documents. So, but in the meantime, I don't mind sharing a script here and there. So let's see here. And I'm slow to respond to PMs, people. I get so many of them. If you go into a PA, you go into message request or that kind of thing, it may take me a minute to get back to you, just so you know. But I will get back to you. So let's see here. Are you doing hard surface countertops, natural stone like granite, marble, quartz, or Korean type products? And are you sourcing the material, and are you sourcing the materials and the fabrication for undermount sinks, etc., through the same material supplier? We're outsourcing them as well. So we do, it depends on the property. We do granite or quartz primarily. And we do the undermount sinks, and our supplier does usually give us the undermount sinks together with the granite. We have a supplier here locally that's to be honest with you, gets most of the stuff through China, and that's where he supplies most of it. Some great places to get sinks, some decorative stuff. This is gold drop here, people, so pay attention. If you're looking for stuff that's not super expensive but looks like name brand materials or is name brand materials, eBay, Amazon, and Wayfair are all great places to go. eBay being the number one. You can get some, you get some faucets that are $100 at Lowe's for like $30. New, not bid on, but new. And so just a little secret to give you if you're buying your own materials, and it's good stuff. Okay, Michael, interesting. Let's see here. Matt Smith. How long is my option period? We don't, well, okay, so I don't know what you mean by that, to be honest with you, because when we do option periods, I'm assuming, are you talking about like for our contracts, we do 21 days or sooner, is kind of our standard, unless the seller needs longer, or they're shorter. I know it's, we do, the only time I do option periods here in California is if I'm doing like a land deal and for development, or I'm looking at, an LOI for like a larger project. Then we'll have an option with option consideration and that kind of thing. And anything else, we just do a straight contract on offer to purchase. It's signed, goes into escrow. And that just depends on what the needs are of the seller and what their desire is. So, but the option period, in that case, our average is about 21 days. Michael, thanks. Well, thanks. This took a lot of weight off my shoulders. Appreciate it, man. And let's see here. What was the longest flip you couldn't sell? How did you handle it to get the house to sell? We had two in the past 8 years. It took a while to sell. Both of them typically when you have an issue with the flip selling, there's two things that are the underlying factor, either price or quality. You either got the quality wrong or you got the price wrong, or both. And that's typically the issues. So one of them, it was a higher end home. We put carpet in it. To be honest with you, we put carpet in it and it didn't sell. It didn't sell. It didn't sell. You'd think it was something that simple, right? And we took the carpet out and put the laminate flooring in and put it back on the market and got multiple offers in like 48 hours. It was the stupidest thing, right? I mean, like if you wanted the house, you could just put carpet in it. I mean, put laminate in it if you didn't like the carpet. We actually sold it for more money than we originally priced it at, and got rid of the property. And so the other one was a mountain property, and at the end of the day, there were some minor things with the quality of work. We had 65 some odd projects going on in our pipeline at that given time. We had the wheels were coming off the bus of the machine. My entire team was stressed, and it took a minute to start that project, and the quality of work wasn't what we normally produce, and that one took a little while to sell. We had to go in and make a couple corrections to it. So at the end of the day, that just shows that even I'm not perfect, and which means that you don't have to be perfect to be successful in this business. So and see, Matt Smith, we just did a Corian and a scratch is easy. Yeah, we're literally granite or no, I was basing on it, but we don't do Corian or marble or anything like that. So, Bob, what would be a great source to learn how to prepare a detailed scope of work to give to a contractor? Bob, I'm building that as we speak. But again, you're welcome to come on and do a Q&A flip talk interview with me, and I'll go through some of those details. But we're building out a full-blown flip course. We're launching the wholesale course first. I'm not going to lie, we have that coming out here right around the corner. I think we're like a week or two away from having that ready, and then I have a rehab course going on right behind it. And I'm going to break down exactly how we're able to not only flip over 100 properties a year, but do it with sanity and not using any of my money for anything, keeping my profits in the bank, not even marketing. I can show you how to flip properties and not even use money for marketing, which is going to blow your mind. So that is literally right around the corner. That is next on my list to bust out, and I will have that ready as fast as I humanly possibly can. But in the meantime, I'm more than happy to jump on a Zoom and do a Q&A with you. The catch is I will put it out there as content if you're cool with that. So that is you have free access to me to walk you through how to put together a detailed scope of work offer. How did you know it was the carpet? Did you ask the people who were interested in the property, blah, blah, blah? Yeah. So when you have a property that's not selling, it's always good to have an agent that's asking for feedback. I think that's a lot of agents get lazy. They don't do that. So our agent was asking for feedback, and the feedback was kind of all over the place. I don't think I really knew per se for any other reason than just gut feeling that if we did that, it was going to solve the problem. To be honest with you, at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to trust your gut and it was a corner we cut to try to save money on the property, and ended up costing us in the long run. So, and I'm sure this was like several years ago, so I'm sure the feedback from people going through the property did have something to do with it. So, what's the smallest market I'll enter from Matt Smith? I don't know. We're in some pretty small markets around here. My criteria for entering a market really doesn't move. So that's a fantastic question, Matt. I don't know if I've ever thought about that all the way through to determine what the smallest market we'd be in, or be willing to be in. So I'll have to get back to you on that. At the end of the day, my criteria for a market is if I'm going to spend the money to advertise there, is there a demand? Is there enough demand to justify our presence there? And if there is, then that really meets the criteria, and we're willing to go into that market. Are you doing deals down here in Los Angeles area? We do deals in like those areas. I've done deals in Orange County, San Diego, LA. Is it a priority for us? No. We marketed down in like San Diego for a while. We even had a stint in Orange County for a while. We had some success. But I just didn't feel like it was worth the focus. I'd rather focus those dollars on like the Bay Area of California and stuff like that. The margins are a little bigger. It's just as competitive, in the sense that, you have some, sellers that are very, knowledgeable and the market and what they have to sell. And we have bigger margins in the Bay right now. So, but I do deals down there. I will do deals down there, if it's the right deal. And then of course we have people from the Bay Area, or from the Bay Area, not the Bay Area, but LA area all the time that are talking to a seller down there, and the seller happens to own a property up here, and then we'll do something with them. In fact, I think we're closing one the next day or two, from somebody that is in the LA market that just happened to have a seller that had a property up here, and we had a buyer, and we're both making some money together. So, cool. All right. So any more questions? I hope they answered all those. If I don't get more than 10 likes on this, people, I'm not going to do them anymore. So give me some thumbs up here. I want to see some likes. I'm talking until I can't even speak anymore. And I want to get some likes on this. So make sure you're hitting some likes and some love. And I appreciate it. Okay, so if you're interested in the virtual summit, go to the fliptalkvirtualsummit.com. And of course, we have in the flash sale right now. It is literally the best price you can get for general admission. We have a VIP option that gives you the recordings and a few other things, but the general admission will definitely get you in the door. And that is super, super, super cheap right now. Flash sale for till Friday. So go to fliptalkvirtualsummit.com and sign up for that. 3 days of absolute value. We're going to have panels, we're going to have open Q&A, and of course we're going to be teaching and sharing and really diving into some of the questions here to bring even more value. And I'm looking forward to it. I always love that interaction. So it's not designed like a webinar. We're actually going to be very interactive with the audience, and we will leave no stone unturned. So I'll have about 10 experts on there that are friends of mine that are really doing the business, that are going to bring some incredible value about marketing, about lead conversion, and of course about closing, working with title companies and getting a check. If you're already doing deals, we're going to help you do more. If you're not doing deals, we're going to help you do deals. You don't want to miss it. If you're interested in the mastermind community, if you feel like you're doing a handful of deals and you just want to start to level up, we're having a meeting in October. See, I'm losing my voice already. October. I believe we're going to meet in Arizona. We're going to do a physical meeting. We're going to rent a house, and then have a hotel as well for those who are going to come and need to stay somewhere. And we are going to basically sit there and just mastermind like crazy. So, and if you're interested in that, go to beinthisroom.com and just apply. You'll set up a call with Mike Cowper, who's my partner in the Inner Circle Elite, and everything else I'm doing now. And he'll make sure that you're the right fit for us and we're the right fit for you. And if it is, then we'll get you going. So I would love to have anybody who's ready to be a part of that community, be ready. Just make sure that you're somebody that is just a decent person, right? And that you're willing to help people and ask for help. And that's really what we're looking for. So Matt G, Mitchell, Colleen, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. You coming on, asking me questions. We'll be live again next Wednesday to answer questions. I'll make sure I come a little more prepared with some of our numbers in front of me, so that way I can answer them for you all, and that way I don't have to skip over anything. So, and I appreciate everybody on here today. Thank you very much for being here. And until I talk to you again, have a wonderful day.